Luis Alberto Lopez versus Joet Gonzalez. 12 rounds for Lopez's IBF featherweight title. Lopez's second title defense this year. The featherweight division is kind of hot right now, man. I mean, you got Lee Wood, who just took his belt back. You got Ray Vargas got a belt. And of course, we know how good Robeisy Ramirez is, and he's got a belt. So lots of other solid opponents in the division as well who aren't champions, man. It's a very exciting division right now. But let's start with the champ. Lopez, 28 wins, 2 losses, 16 wins by way of knockout. Now, we've touched on Lopez a few times on the channel already, but he's built up this persona now of this guy who goes into his opponent's backyard and comes out on top. He beat Josh Warrington to win a title in a mixed decision victory, but I thought he won that fight unanimously. Look, Warrington was using some of those Warrington tactics, right? Not going to go too much into those Warrington tactics. When we broke that fight down, I unpack exactly that in that video. But again, a fight where Lopez came into an opponent's home and came out on top. So Lopez is very confident these days, man. He's not the same fighter that lost to Abraham Montoya in 2018 and not the same fighter who lost to Ruben Villa in 2019. I think if he fights those guys again anytime soon, he's going to come out on top. Lopez is a tricky guy to fight because his shots come from all angles, man, different angles from different varieties of ways, from unorthodox ways that it just makes you think like, yo, what is this man doing? He's reflective and sharp. In his last 11 fights, he has stopped 8 of his opponents by way of knockout. So the power seems to be coming together at this stage in his career. Let's go back to his most recent fight when he fought Michael Conlan in Ireland, defending his belt in his opponent's home. Conlan was coming off a back-to-back win against Miguel Mariaga and Kareem Guafri, where he stopped Guafri in the first round. Conlan isn't really known for his power like that, but I was impressed with how he got the job done. The fight went off between them, and there was a lot of action in the first round. Lopez applied the pressure, but Conlan did not back down either. Lopez, whenever he threw the uppercut, was getting through. There was a punch in the second round where Lopez brought a punch, man. He had one hand on his quad and the other hand kind of looking up, and he just pushed that uppercut through, and it got through. I'm like, wait a minute, what type of shot was that? It was slow and fast at the same time. And worst of all, it connected. But as the round went on, I was like, okay, I see what type of fight Mick Conlan is on. And I don't like the type of fight that Mick Conlan is on, right? Mick Conlan is used to being a boxer, man, gets in range and gets out of range, right? Fights on the outside, uses his speed and his boxing ability to his advantage, but not that night. Oh no, not this night. He was staying in the pocket, trading shots, and he was getting hit with a whole lot more shots early in the fight than we're used to seeing him get hit by. In the third round, I wasn't sure he was going to make it out of that third round. But Lopez, at that point, man, it was only a matter of time because you could see who was in control. Conlan started to fight off the back foot and box more, but the style of Lopez, where he's lunging and leaping and throwing punches in between, makes it tough for anyone because you're not sure, like you're just not expecting it. You're not expecting someone to leap forward extensively and then throwing a left and a right and then another left and not lose their balance. You just don't see that often. In the 5th round of their fight, Conlan slipped a shot and then ducked it. And 9 times out of 10 against anybody else, that would have worked. But the moment that he ducked the shot, Lopez had a right hand that was waiting for him right there that cleanly caught him on the chin, and it was over with. But you know what was crazy about that whole thing for me? Not the knockdown, but how the towel came immediately as soon as his back touched the canvas, which goes to show his corner knew that their guy was taking a lot of punishment. This version of Lopez is no joke, but Gonzalez is not going to make it easy by no means. Let's talk about his opponent, Joet Gonzalez. 26 wins, 3 losses, and 15 wins by way of knockout. Gonzalez is always tough, always game, always durable, always ready for whatever, whenever. And I respect that about him. His 3 losses are coming from guys that he fought: Shakur Stevenson, Emmanuel Navarrete, and Isaac Dogboe. If you remember the fight with Navarrete, Gonzalez's eye was busted up badly. I mean, Navarrete hit him with every single shot possible, and he still stood the test to finish the fight. How? Only he knows. Because past a certain point, that was a rough one to watch. Against Shakur Stevenson, he just couldn't get to him, which is the case for most of Shakur Stevenson's opponents. Against Isaac Dogboe, that was a back and forth fight that could have went either way. Both men left everything inside of the ring, in a fight where I wouldn't have been mad if Gonzalez won or Dogboe won. I wouldn't have been mad if it was a draw. It was a close fight. There were some definitive rounds, but it was a close fight overall, but not mad at the outcome. In his last fight, he fought Enrique Vivas in a fight where he needed to come out on top. 10 rounds in a fight where it was a very close range fight, man. We saw that from the get-go, right? Both men standing and trading shots and landing and letting their hands go. Both men landing similar shots against each other, but Gonzalez had the better technique and made the better adjustments. Vivas wanted the close range fight, man. That was his style. That's what he's gonna do. He only knows forward. He only knows punches and bunches and letting the hands go from in close. He's not trying to box. He's trying to make it into a war. Right? Gonzalez, though, he has the ability to do that, but he can also step back, make adjustments, and fight from that mid-distance range and fight on the outside. He made much better adjustments that fight. Vivas wasn't giving him the space, but he created his own space by taking a step back. Right? If he can get a little bit of space, man, he can really go to work and start to put on different combinations to make sure that his shots, you're feeling it every time he throws. He's not afraid to let his hands go. Both men were combined for over 1,500 punches, which is a stupid amount of punches. I mean, Gonzalez's work rate, that fight was great. His mix of attacks were very nice, and the subtle adjustments in the ring that he made a difference. He's a very experienced fighter, not a guy who is going to rush or smother his work. Gonzalez and Vivas was a very fun fight to watch, man. But at the same time, the amount of punches that those men were taking and throwing, it makes me think, man, what was that recovery like? How much more wars does he have? Fights like that take a little bit out of you. But one thing about Joet Gonzalez, man, is if you are going to beat him, you are going to need to take him out, something that none of his opponents have been able to do just yet. He's going to bring the experience. He's going to bring the skill. And this is not a guy you can take lightly, man. So who wins? As much as I like Joet Gonzalez, man, a lot of respect for him, I like the champ Lopez to win this fight by decision. Here's why for me. Lopez's movements is kind of similar to Navarrete in a way. Those angles and tight spots where Lopez can find or create his openings, I think is going to be tough for Gonzalez to fight off the whole fight. And I think Lopez right now is fighting with a level of confidence that is going to be tough to break. However, if Gonzalez can frustrate Lopez and bang on the inside and stick to him, keep banging on the inside, man, he might be able to frustrate him as Warrington did. If he can do that, it will change things, right? Because Lopez is the smaller man on paper. If he can use some of that physical advantage, right, and that aggression, he may be able to frustrate Lopez like Warrington did and make him move out of character and maybe even eke out a win. But I think it's going to be tough to beat Lopez right now, man. I think the improvements he's made over the years, it's tough to go against him. I got Lopez winning this fight by decision. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. We got a membership section going on the channel. I don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below, but if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top and I will do my best to get those done for you. Or if you'd like to become a member just to support the channel, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated as well. Shout out to everybody that continues to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each of you. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and I'll definitely see you next time.